Welcome back, Astardi brothers, Sorority sisters. This is the Many Dude here again today. So I have this orc stomper. I can't remember the exact name. I'll look it up later and leave it in the description. I got this little mini for I think around $13. It was just a singular pre-made. He pre-glued it and all that. He was selling the other ones for some low prices, but I just wanted this one at the time. Right now I'm just applying a black coat to it. I did water it down heavily. I'm actually going to add some more here. I am planning to make this guy, it's kind of a toss-up. Make him like orange or make him purple. Having a rough time deciding. In this video will just be me showcasing me painting him black for the beginning base coat to see what I think of it so far. I'll probably get some concept ideas from the internet. People do make really good drawings or paint really good minis. So I'm just kind of postponing on what color I want to make them because I only have one of these guys. I'm not planning to make an entire army of these. That'd be expensive because I'm already working on my Blood Angels army. You've seen that in my first two videos. I painted some Primaris Reavers and some Intercessors. I do have some Infiltrators coming in the mail. They should be here by Wednesday. So hopefully I will be getting that video up to you guys as soon as possible. I also will be painting a Cadian Shock Guard troop squad in the future. I'm planning on making them a small detachment of my Blood Angels as well, painting them red with black or the pavement color I showcased in one of my videos earlier, if you've seen them. Now, applying this black coat, it is nice. I do not usually use primers because I don't plan to handle them a lot. They say to get something where it sticks onto the mini. Honestly, it's the acrylic paint that I use, did call outs to it in previous videos. It sticks to the mini really well. And if you mess up, it's really easy to just grab an old toothbrush or what are those called again? The ear Q-tips. Grab one of those with a bit of rubbing alcohol and get into that small crevice down there or whatever you're trying to get out the paint. Just in case you messed up or you got too much paint in one spot. You just want to redo that. I had some trouble on my first Reaver videos. And so that's what I just ended up doing is I just took off all the paint, added some new coats to it. Not all thick and stuff because at the time I was still learning roughly what my capacity was and where I could paint it and how I can paint it. So far I've gotten down my own little technique. I am pretty proud of myself because I haven't been in this hobby long. It's definitely less than a month. Sorry, you can't even see what I'm doing over here. There you go. But yeah, I've definitely been in this hobby less than a month. I am reading up on lores and books, rules, all the happy fun stuff. It's never fun relearning the rules of stuff. But I am hoping to get fully into this. I'm hoping to get videos out of everything, really. Everything that I do, I'm hoping to get at least 1 or 2 videos out. And I will be looking to get that new 9th edition box set that is coming out. I do know that it's not a starting set. At least that's what I believe I've heard them call it. It's not a starting set. But correct me if I'm wrong, that is a pretty cool box. Even if you're just starting out, you want a fair decent amount of each faction, Space Marines, and Necrons, I'd suggest to get that box, because that gives you best of both worlds. I did hear it's probably going to be retailing around in the $200 range. Of course, this is pre-release info, so it's subject to change. See, I like to do a wet wash just to give him some more detail before I actually get into the full painting, because then that gives me an idea of how I want to get him all prettied up. Oh, there it is. And for these smaller items, I do like to use one of these alligator clips. And if you're wondering, this alligator clip, it does kind of leave marks. But if you're painting orcs, then battle damage is nothing to be really scared of. Just because, I mean, yeah, it's orcs. It's a mystery 90% of the time how their stuff even works, so. Yeah, a little dig-in mark's not going to hurt anything. You know, if you just kind of file around it and get it flushed with everything else, then you're like, oh, cool, a little bit more battle damage. And in the future, I will be getting a drop pod for the Space Marines, if that is still going to be canon in the 9th edition. So I'll be getting one of those pretty cheap, and I'll do a tutorial on how to give it a more battle damage look, like that drop pod's seen a fair amount of use. Or a tank, like a rhino, just that type of stuff. Getting inside this barrel is a little tricky. Just want to make sure I get some paint in there. Once you get the black paint in that little barrel, you don't gotta worry about the rest of the day, the rest of the time. I mean, if you could paint this in a day, then kudos to you. I am going to take a little bit of time because I do want to figure out what colors I'm going to be using for this particular mini. Because I've seen people paint them in purple, greens, oranges, reds, obviously. I was thinking of doing a concept of the Warhammer 40k Space Marine game. You know how they're reddish black, varying in that color range. I was thinking of modeling that because I used to play that game a lot. Came out for the Xbox 360 and the PS3 and PC, believe it or not. So, let's try and get that paint on there. There we go. And again, this guy did come pre-assembled, so I have no clue what they did to him. It's missing its ball joint right here for the ankle, but that's fine. I'll just stick it on there. You're not going to really be paying attention to the feet. And if you are, that's on you, really. If you're going to be putting that much detail on the feet to where that's going to be the main eye drawer, then that's perfectly your choice. But I mean, it's the feet and the base. You know, you want it to be tabletop ready or shelf decent. And again, if you're going to be making a whole army, you know, 2,000 points, 500 points, you know, that variation, if it's going to be a decent-sized army, I don't suggest to put, like, hours of work into one mini, because then you'll just burn yourself out on this. You know, you'll get done painting one 10 mini Primaris squad, and you're like, oh, why am I in this thing again? You know? Don't do that. Don't do that to yourself. You'll regret it later. Making sure I get all these gray spots in him. He just has so many nook and crannies, really. If you leave any space unpainted, that's why I do this black wash, so it gets everywhere. So if you do end up painting him a gray, like a steel or a rusted color later, and you miss a spot, you'll see the black under there, and it won't be tremendously, like a huge, tremendous big deal. Oh no, I missed a spot. You know, it'll just look like a shadow. There's also the priming techniques where you spray them completely black with a primer, and then you spray them complete from the very top, like where the sun hits them. Spray them from the top and get, I can't remember the exact artist name for it. And this little Terminator, it is from the Little Hero series where you get the singular packs of them, easy to build. I'm not too sure if these guys can relate to the Primaris, like be played with them, but oh well. I like this guy because he will match the whole Blood Angel theme, so I figured why not and just paint him. And I am doing the same thing to this guy. He comes out as already red, as you can see. That's his initial coloring. So this is what I'm doing. I'm painting him completely black. Then I'll come back later and paint him with red, just to give him a more darker red, hopefully, depending on which one I use on my shelf. I do like the Servitor skull. I wish I kind of kept that separate so I could add it to one of my Primaris guys, because that is a nice little mold right there. You don't see, I mean, you might see a good amount of them, but I've never really seen them added on to regular box sets, say the least. So if you have like a captain that you really like, and you want to make them differentiate between the others, I suggest get these little single-use guys, pry off whatever pieces you want to use for your Primaris, or if you can use for Primaris, and stick them on there. You know, this guy retailed me about, I want to say about $12. It was pretty pricey if you're just going to use it for parts. But I did see some on there for around $8. And that was free shipping on eBay. See, now that this guy's drying, you could tell what I mean, kinda. Lighting's horrible. There you go. It's a little bit better. But you can tell where it's going to be a little bit more translucent, where the black's going to kind of pool up and whatnot. I don't mind if it pools, because their tech is amazing. Is still a great mystery on how it works. So it doesn't have to look perfect. If you want perfect, this is not the tour. The video's for you. Just getting in that little, if you can see it, right there. Just getting in there because I missed some. I don't want to end up having to paint over some gray later and just throw all the coloring off. I do have a metallic ice blue, is what it's called. But once it dries, it makes a really nice silver color. So that's why I usually do these chain blades in. So I'll do the ice blue and get it nice looking silvery. Pull that off. And these clips are good for little projects like this. It holds it really tight. And if you get it dirty, no problem. Just soak it in some rubbing alcohol, or if during these times, what I would use to strip some paint if needed is Awesome Spray, Awesome Cleaner. They sell it at my local 90-cent store. Super cheap. I think it was like a half-a-gallon bottle for $1, $2. So I'm not worried about having to strip paint. It's not going to be a huge budget killer or anything like that. I do know people use Simple Green. I think I've heard of it like that. People will use that to strip paint. They live and die by that stuff. But if you're a budgeter like me, you know, you get what you can at the moment you can, then I'd suggest Awesome Cleaner or Awesome Spray, somewhere in that ballpark. If you have watched any other videos on how to strip paint, you do know I'm sure you've seen that. It sounds familiar, at least. I'm pretty sure they sell it at Walmart, but I know the best place to get it from me would be the 90-cent store. And these clips were about 89 cents or 98 cents at my local Fry's store too. Just gonna give them a second to prime. I'll go ahead and stop the video here real quick, and I'll come back right when we start adding some color to them once I figured out what colorings I do want to use. So I'll see you here in a minute.